Hello and welcome to EE 447. I'm your instructor, Gregory Myers. In this video, we're going to continue to work with styling on our HTML tables. In addition to some basic CSS, we're also going to look at the idea of nested tables. Now, in one of the prior videos, we worked on example table underscore 02, and I'm using that version to derive my table underscore 03. I've made a couple of changes since that video. Once again, I have changed the background color for the entire table to green, and then I have essentially overridden with a more descriptive gold for the head, and the color for the nested tag essentially supersedes the one for the table. Okay? So in this case now what I've wound up with is a gold head and a green table. Now a couple of notes is obviously I think you can guess why I picked green and gold. Notice also too that I can spell the names out. You can also use a color wheel to specify the values. I may do that in a later video. And then also a little bit of a note, you probably don't want me designing the aesthetics of your website just by virtue of the fact that I'm probably going to pick some pretty outlandish colors. Once again, point behind this is have some fun with it. Now, earlier what we did is we defined a 4-column table, and in the 4th column I left course tools. And so the idea here is maybe we can describe the IDE that we use or maybe what programming language. But the key here is that I want to have multiple elements within a specific cell. Now we've got a couple of ways that we can do this. We can use a P tag and essentially create a paragraph and use the line break to delineate between lines. And that's perfectly fine, and that may be what we choose to do, but I want us to look at another option, and that is of nesting a table within a table. And so what I want to do now is in the body, in your first row, in the 4th column, I want to expand this out. And what I want to do is I'm actually going to add a second table, a nested table. And for this table, I don't necessarily need to have head information. Instead, what I would like to do is I would just simply like to start off with a row. And what I'd like to do now is create a single column using the TD tags and describe the tools that are used in a particular course. And so for E233, we generally focus on NetBeans, followed by, or utilized with rather, C, and then perhaps batch. And if you save this, you'll notice now that we have another table within the 4th column of the first row. Now you're probably wondering that that didn't turn out quite like what we expected, but if you notice what I've done here is I've created 3 columns within a single row of this nested table. It's one way to present the data. What if we instead decided to have 3 rows within this nested table? And so instead what we'll do is for each one of the single columns, we create a separate row by closing the TR tag. So what we'll do is we'll simply create a nested table by completing the TR tags around the TD tag. All right, once again, make sure that all of your tags have closing tags. I'll save it. Now you see that we have our 3 course tools now in a table within the cell of another table. And so we're going to continue on with that just to experiment a little bit one more time. And so in this case, within the TD tag of the fourth column of the second row, we're going to create a second table with a row for each one of our column values. Now, one thing that I like to do at this point, particularly if you see a pattern, is to go ahead and copy and paste, or at least copy into the buffer, the tags or group of tags that you'll be using repetitively. And so for our EE233 class, we typically use NetBeans or some version thereof, as well as Java. And then for our EE447 class, we'll also want to insert a table into the fourth column, specifying the row in a single column. And here, we're just going to put in multiple IDEs because I've given you your choice. And then we're just going to simplify this a little bit because I believe at this point, you've gotten what I'm trying to show you. And so we're just going to simply specify multiple languages. Now what you have is a table within a table. All right. Now, you'll notice here that I have defined no style for the inner table. And what we're going to do is we're going to see in our next video how we can avoid having to put all of our style in line with our structure or with the HTML tags. Hopefully you found this video useful. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions, don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you.